Hey everyone, this is Ken, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial, guys, on a brand new all-in-one mega potion system. Now we have a lot to cover, guys, because this thing has everything. Now right off the bat, we have a selector panel here that has all the potions that you select from 1.14 going forward, especially the new ones that were just added on, which is fantastic. Now with the selector panel, guys, the second you press the button, the light will go on to let you know that you selected that potion. And right now is the perfect time to go back and forth to choose what potion you want before you finalize it. Now at this point, let's go right here into the side, guys, and you have your potion add-ons. So you have enhanced levels, extends duration, splash, lingering, and you even have that reset button if you really don't want none of the ingredient add-ons you actually selected. Now with this panel, it's slightly different because it will select each one that you choose. See? So if you don't want that, just reset it and you can really change your mind on that. And the cool thing about this, if you hit lingering, it will automatically activate the splash and lingering because you need both to do that. And the great thing, guys, it really automates the entire system. Now we're going to do a little example, guys. We're going to make a potion of swiftness. We're going to add some duration and convert it, like I said, to a lingering potion. See? So as you can see, we got the add-ons, we got our press to make potion in the center, that's to finalize it. And once you hit that, it would activate the system and also reset the entire panel. Now right here on the side, guys, you got your brewing stand, which is awesome, and all your ingredients will go there. The second you press the button there on the right, that would also add a blaze powder to the system in case that gets low. Now what I like about this, guys, the ingredients will always be in the perfect format once brewing, so you never have to worry about this thing hicking up or messing up, etc. And the second one item gets in there, the water bottles will go in automatically as well. I'm going to fast forward this because you're going to see what happens once the system is completed. You see, once this bad boy is done, all those bottles are going to go directly into the chest right underneath. See, perfect. And when you look inside, they're all right there, all nice and neat, no problems. Now just to add a little storage, guys, you can see right here where it says Swiftness, we have some barrels there. You can put those potions right there in case you need to use it later. So it adds a little extra organization to the rest of the panel. Now let's kind of explain what's going on here. Now like I said earlier, guys, we got this extra blaze powder spot here that you're always going to have to refill. And right here, guys, that's where you use it at. You press that button and it automatically puts it in there. Now on the left hand side, you got some water bottles here, which is a great way, and your water source is right next to it. So whenever you have to refill it, just put some water bottles like so, dump it in, and you're good to go. And on the right, we have a chest here for extra storage to add those empty water bottles, etc. And the thing here, guys, with the turtle helmets, they're not stackable. So this has its own separate sorting. So it goes directly where it needs to be at, so that it could add to the rest of the system. Now the stackable ingredients will go in this right hand chest here on the right hand side, and that's where you put all your ingredients inside. And the cool thing about this, guys, say for example you accidentally drop something in there that you shouldn't drop. For example, the sword. And you drop it in there, not to worry, it's going to go right into this chest, and anything that doesn't get sorted out will go right in there with a light indication system to let you know right away there's something inside. Now right here on the right, you're going to have these double doors, guys, and once you go inside, you're going to notice we have a little bit of storage and this awesome miniature Nether Wart farm. It's a great way to have an unlimited supply of Nether Wart without having the worries. And right here we have a panel with a light indication system to let you know the status of each ingredient, which is fantastic because it lets you know if one of the ingredients are getting low. And right on top we have barrels that you actually could take the ingredients from and drop it into that ingredient chest in the front. Now we also have, of course, a mechanical room. So if you want to go down here, guys, for whatever reason, you're having issues, you come down here, you have full access to the mechanics of this design as well. Now I'm going to show you a prime example of what would happen if one of the ingredients actually waste out. And we're going to put one Nether Wart inside. Now we're going to activate, let's see, any potion. Let's do fire resistance. We're going to activate that. And you're going to notice the light indication system is going off right underneath the center. Now the cool thing here, guys, this is going to be going But because that was the last Nether wart, let me just raise the volume here. We even have no blocks that are going to be also activated as well, which is completely optional. So it's a great way to let you know that one of the ingredients are off. Now once we go back into that room, you're going to see right away that ingredient is missing. And once you add it right into this chest where you put the ingredients to refill your items, that light indication system on the floor will turn off. See? Perfect. And once you go back in them, guys, you're going to notice that light also turned off as well to let you know that everything is copacetic. Now enough talking, guys. Make sure you pause the video and have these dimensions. It's very important that you go north and south in building this. Now I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is a very large project. And the reason we're going north and south because it really has to do with the rails. You could do east and west, but at one point it will get complicated as far as the rail setup because they're going to really help us with creating this design. Now we're going to do this in section, guys. We're going to start off with part 1, which is the selector panel. Now the blue is the front, the red is the back. Now at this point you're going to go about 1 block in and place 2 blocks like so, 2 more, and another one creating this kind of U shape with a repeater going forward. Now once you've done that, go right here on the side and add a total of 15 blocks right across. Fantastic. And once you've done that, you're going to add some redstone dust on top of each block that you just placed. Then you're going to add 3 more blocks right over here, and of course extend that right across like we did with the first set. Now once you've done that, add a block in front of each redstone dust that we just placed. Now once you have that all set up, guys, you're going to place 2 more blocks like so, and of course whatever you do on one side you're going to do right on the other. Now I'm going to be honest, guys, this is all going to be extremely repetitive, about 15 times. Now once you've done that, add some repeaters going forward with some redstone dust right behind it, guys. You don't have to do any delays on those repeaters. Now you're going to place some blocks on top of the redstone dust. And once you're done, you're going to place some droppers facing towards the back like so, right across. And right in front of those droppers, place some more droppers facing upwards. And then you're going to get your hoppers and place it facing downwards on top of the first set of droppers that we just placed. Now once you've done that, you're going to place another set of hoppers going forward towards the first set that we just placed a few seconds ago. And long story short, you should have this kind of look. Now right over here, guys, you're going to place a set of blocks right across. Perfect. Then you're going to add 2 more again, and of course extend that right across the board. And in the middle, you're going to place a set of blocks right on top, and of course right across on it. And you should have the shape. Now here you're going to place comparators going forward because it's going to read out the signals coming from those droppers. And repeaters in front, because that's going to send out the signal, which we'll show you later on in the video. Now, this is very important, guys. Make sure this is on full delay. Each repeater must be on 4 ticks. Now, once you've done that, you're going to add a redstone torch right on top of the block in the middle. A block on top of that redstone torch, and of course extend that right across. Now, right here in the front, this is the perfect time to start adding 1 piece of dirt in each hopper. So take your time, pause the video, guys. Like I said, this is very tedious and it's going to take some time. Then you're going to place a block on top of that hopper. And a repeater right behind it going forward towards the front of the design, as you can see. And a redstone torch in front of that block, because that's going to send out the signal for the light indication system. Now you're going to place a block in front of that hopper, right across the board. Then you're going to place a block at an angle like so. And once again, extend that right across. And then you're going to place a repeater going forward towards those blocks. We have to set up this way because it's all tileable. Then right over here, guys, you're going to place your repeater going forward towards that block because that's going to activate the dropper. And make sure that these repeaters are on 3 ticks. Now we're going to start creating the panel. Now you're going to place some blocks on top of those redstone dust, or basically behind those repeaters, and a button right in front of it. Now once you've done that, add another row of blocks on the side and right across. And 3 more blocks right here. And then you're going to add your redstone lamps right in the front. Fantastic. If you want to, guys, at this point, just add a row of blocks on top to create this awesome framework. Now, I will highly suggest testing out each button to make sure that everything's working out properly, that you're not missing a piece of dirt, because sometimes that could happen. Or sometimes even the repeaters might be off. Now, at this point, guys, we're going to start on part 2, the selector panel for the add-ons. And you're going to go right on the inside here, guys, and you're going to add 3 blocks, like so, right across. Then you're going to add 2 pieces of redstone dust right on top and a repeater going forward. Now once you've done that, guys, you're going to go right over here and create a kind of U shape with the blocks, like we did when we first started with the first selector panel. But in this case, you're going to add a block right underneath and delete that block like so. Then you're going to add your repeater going forward. Now once you've done that, add 1 block there and an additional 4 blocks right across. And once you've done that, add 2 more blocks going inwards. And over here, guys, you're going to create a bit of a stair pattern going upwards. And delete those blocks right underneath. And right across here, guys, you're going to add some redstone dust going straight down all the way till you get to this point. Fantastic. Then you're going to go right where that redstone dust is at, add a block there, and 4 more right across. Then you're going to add a button right in front of each block, like so. Now once you've done that, add 4 sticky pistons right there, and some observer blocks in this exact setup. Now it's very important, guys, add a block there and there to kind of create this kind of angle shape, and 1 right there, and this is going to be in front of the first 4 buttons. Then you're going to add a repeater going forward. See? First 4 buttons, not the 5th one. Then you're going to add 3 blocks like so, and extend that right across, guys. And what you want to do, and this is very important, make sure when you place your droppers, they're facing each other. Perfect. Then you add a block underneath and a block in front of it, and delete this block like so, because that's where you're going to place your comparators going forward. Now at this point, guys, we got to fix the lingering potion. So go right here all the way to the side to the last one, place a repeater coming out from that block, 2 blocks like so, put a block underneath, delete the one in the center, and you're going to curve this going forward. Now you're going to place a block on the second dropper underneath, and that's when you need to activate. So add some redstone dust, add a repeater going towards it with some redstone dust underneath, because once again, this is going to activate the lingering and the splash potion at the same time. And right here in those front droppers, guys, you're going to place 1 piece of dirt inside. Perfect. Now, once you've done that to each one, you're going to go right on top here and add 3 blocks right across on top of each one perfectly. See? And then you're going to place a block right here at an angle and extend it right across. Now, it's going to sound kind of weird, guys, but you're going to place repeaters about 3 rows going forward in this exact layout. And on top here, you're going to place some redstone torches with some blocks on top of it and another set of redstone torches. And the reason why we have these repeaters set up this way is because, believe it or not, if I added a block in between, it might actually activate the dropper underneath. Now right here in this last button, place a redstone torch behind it with a block on top of it, another redstone torch, and that is the reset button itself. And add a row of blocks in front, and at this point we're going to create a nice framework. So add some blocks on the side of it, and we're basically going to replicate the other selector panel at this point. And all you have to do is add your redstone lamps here, and there you have it, guys, this perfect setup. Now bear in mind, guys, go right to the back real quickly. On the droppers facing the back end of this, you're going to place a block right across like so, because those observer blocks underneath are going to activate that to reset it. Now another pet peeve of mine, guys, the lingering potion, when you activate it, is going to create a delay with the light signals. See, one will go on before the other. Now if that doesn't bother you, don't worry about this, just keep going forward. But if you want them both to go in perfect sync, add a redstone dust there and 2 on the side here, and that would activate both lamps at the same time. You see? Perfect. I know it's my OCD, but I love it. I personally like it. I like to make sure that everything works in perfect sync. All right. So now that we got that all done, we're going to start working on part 3, the brewing station. Now the first thing you're going to do is add 2 upside down stairs on the side, and in the center you're going to add a large chest, and on top of it you're going to add 3 more stairs like so right across. So you should have a total of 5 stairs and a large chest in the middle. Then you're going to add a few more blocks on the side, and starting from that corner extend that right across to create the perfect framework. Now you're going to place a hopper right on top going down towards that chest with a brewing stand on top of it, a hopper on the side of it. Then you're going to add a block, well, 2 blocks right underneath, 1, 2, delete that, and a hopper going downwards right there at that edge. And that's where you're going to place a barrel right on top of it. You can add a barrel or chest, whatever you want to choose, and on top of this hopper add 1 large chest right across. Now once you've done that, you're going to place a block behind the brewing stand and on the side as well, because we want to cover up as much as possible. So add a few more blocks on the side, 2 blocks on the under, run right there, and basically just kind of cover all this up because I don't want none of the redstone to show from the outside in. Now right here on the side of that barrel, add a dropper facing the brewing stand and a glass panel on the left hand side, because that's where you're going to place your water. You don't have to use a glass panel, you use a fence, an iron bar, whatever you want to use. Just make sure you place something there that you would have full access to that water source. And what I did was I added a crafting table on top of the water source as an optional thing or filler. Now on top of the brewing stand, add 1 hopper going downwards, you see, like so. And right here in the back you can even add a large chest, and this really acts as some extra storage. And I even added an ender chest, which is completely optional. It's more for decorative purpose or even functionality. But you can have the flexibility to kind of customize this and add some really cool things or whatever you want to add there. Now, of course, we're going to cover this up with another set of blocks like so. And like I said, we want to cover everything up nicely. Now, right here in the center, you're going to add a few more blocks and extend that right across. And in the edge here, you're going to delete that block. Now you're going to place a comparator going forward, because that's going to pick up the signal of the hopper right behind it with a block in front of it, a repeater. Now we're going to create a comparator timer. So add a comparator going forward, and right next to it add a comparator in the opposite direction, some redstone dust on the left, and 2 more like so. And believe it, that timer is crucial. Now pause the video if you have to, but you should have this exact setup. Now right here you're going to place a redstone torch, and underneath you're going to place a hopper, and make sure that these hoppers are facing each other. Now this is also important, guys. Pause the video, make sure you put 45 pieces of dirt in that hopper, because this is more of a timing system. Now once you've done that, place a block there, and 1 like so, creating this kind of L shape. Then you're going to place a comparator going forward. Now on the inside here, you're going to add 2 more blocks and 1 on top, and add a repeater going towards the frontwards direction, and make sure it's on 2 ticks. And once you've done that, add a block on the side with some redstone dust, and we're going to create that awesome U shape that I like to use a lot. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 on top with the blocks. Then you're going to place a repeater going forward with a redstone torch on top. You're probably wondering what's the little bottom setup for. Now I'm going to delete this block, I'm going to put it right back. But that's going to control the water bottles. And it also controls, once the brewing system is done with the potions, how it sends the potions into the chest, and how it controls the water bottles from not going in there. Now, on top here, you're going to place 1 barrel with a hopper going forward. And on the side here, guys, you're going to go right underneath, and you're going to fill this gap up with a few more blocks. Like I said, we want everything to look smooth as could be, you see? Then add 1 button there, and that's for the blaze powder. Now part 4, guys, we're going to create the finalization of the button. So once you select what you want, and you want the system to activate, so place a block there, 2 so, a button like so, 1 redstone lamp, and a block on top. Basically the basic selector setup. The only difference is, guys, you're going to go right behind here, add a redstone torch with a block on top, another redstone torch, and a block on top of that. Now one more thing I forgot to do is these repeaters. Forgot to do that on this side as well. So add 2 more blocks, create that awesome platform, and add some repeaters going forward, and make sure they're all on 4 ticks. That's the only thing I forgot to do on the add-on part of this. Now let's go back to the centerpiece here, guys. Add a few more blocks going forward to about 1 block out from where the repeaters are at, and extend these blocks parallel to the panel itself. You see, they're all supposed to be parallel right here to the actual, repeaters themselves. So they're 1 block forward and parallel to the repeaters. Not on top of the repeaters, but 1 block forward. And you're going to add some redstone dust right across in the center. And once you've done that, you're going to add a repeater on both sides going outwards. And on top of each block, you're going to add some redstone dust like so. Perfect. Now we're going to extend this outwards just a bit more, because what we're going to do here, guys, is going to place it parallel to that barrel, place a block on top, and you should have this look. Now believe it or not, this should add up to a total of 15 pieces of redstone dust until it hits that repeater. And trust me, that's going to make sense later on in the video. And right now you're going to add some sticky pistons going downwards, and over here add 15 sticky pistons right across. Now once you've done that, all you have to do, of course, is add a block right underneath each sticky piston, right across the board. Now we're going to work on one of the most important parts of this build, part 5, which is the potion coating itself. Then you're going to go right over here, place a block there, and you're going to extend this a total of 16 blocks from front to back. And once you've done that, you're going to also repeat this and extend this all the way to the width of the actual selector panel until you have this exact look. Now we're going to take out a few blocks and we're going to start color coding everything. Now go about 1, 2, 3, delete those 2 blocks, leave that alone, and delete the rest of the blocks right across. And of course, you're going to fill that with a colored block of your choice. Perfect. Now we're going to go right to here, right to the back over here. Go 1, 2, 3, delete those 2. And starting here right above it, delete 4 blocks right across. So you should have 1, 2, 3, and 4 to create this exact look. See? Fantastic. Now right here, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, break that, place a block right there, go 1 in, go 1, 2, and then 3, break that as well. And we got the hard part pretty much done at this point. Now go right to the left hand side to that corner, go 1 block up, delete that, place your block there. Then you're gonna go all the way at an angle like so, until you get to this point here. See? Now I'm going to give you guys a bird's eye view. Pause the video, but make sure you have this exact coding set up. So take your time, guys. Trust me, this is very important. Now once you've done that, place a block at an angle and 1 right behind it, and 1 like so in an L shape. Then you're going to place a block there with a slab on top, break that block, place another block at an angle, and you can extend that right across till you're 1 block away from the piston. Perfect. Now, there's a few things else that we have to also set up before we go any further. Now, just extend this bottom row right across, just the bottom 3 blocks right across the platform. And you know what? Let's delete this block for now. Now, because we're doing this north and south thing, we have to set up the rails a certain way. Now, we're going to be using power rails there and a rail activator on top of each orange block. Place a rail activator, like I said, on top of each orange block, and of course extend the rest of the power rails till you get to the other end. Now, because we're facing north and south, these will fight you, so you have to do it alternatingly like so, leaving a gap in between for now and extend that right across. Perfect. Now, I know with this rail I actually place a regular rail in between, and trust me, it's all going to make sense. So do it exactly the way you see it right here. So add your power rails, your rail detector, my apologies, rail detector, and of course, make sure that on top of each orange block, and repeat this, you add a rail detector. If I said activator, that was my fault. It was a slight typo. Well, it's a long video, guys, so just kind of bear with me. But like I said, a rail detector on top of each orange block. Now, once you got the light spacing in between, you're gonna do the same exact thing, but go 1 block in and place your rail there on the inside. Fantastic. Perfect. Leaving that 1 space right there, because if you add a rail there, this will happen. It's going to turn the rails in the opposite direction and give you a nightmare of a time to really set this up. See? You don't want this headed, guys, because it is super frustrating. But the great thing is, because we're doing this north-south direction, it makes everything else with this super easy, believe it or not. And this is actually the best format to do this. So make sure you leave that gap in between the top ends, like so. And you can do this right across each one. Now, once you've done that right across the board, all you have to do is break the ends right off. Just break the ends right off, right across, and you have this perfect rail system. And now on the back end here, you're going to break those blocks as well, the rails, and then add your block right on top of it, and of course right across the board. Then get your slab, extend that right across, and you're pretty much going to extend all these other blocks right across as well. So you add some more blocks and you should have this general look. Now you're going to place some temporary blocks in front of the pistons, because once again, we got to add the rails in that alternating pattern. So add a rail on top of the block, extend that right across. I'm using power rails, but you could really change that up if you want to use less power rails, etc. I'm just showing you the max performance that you could pretty much add to this without any hiccups. Now, once you've done that, of course, add your power rail about 1 block in now, and just connect it right across the board. And do that to each one. Now once you got that look, all you have to do is break the dirt and the rails itself, and there you have it. You got this perfect setup. Now I just added some levers underneath, but what that's going to do is activate the power rails on top and the power rails on the bottom at the same time. So that's all I simply did, guys, was just simply added some more levers. They're really easy to make. Just make sure you activate all the power rails right across the board. All right, so just choose how you want to do that. And I just added a whole bunch all over the place. Just don't put nothing underneath. That's the thing. Fantastic. Now at this point, guys, we're going to be working on part 6, which is the potion add-on coding setup. Now, just like we did with the previous one, on the right, all you have to do is add a block there and extend that 20 blocks right to the back. Then you're going to actually bring a block right here at an angle, right there, and extend 2 more on the side, guys. You should have a total of 3. And repeat this exact format a total of 4 times, because the selector panel for this one is only 4 wide. Perfect. So you should have this kind of look. Now, just like we did previously, you're gonna go about 1 block in, place a block there, and add all these blocks here at an angle. Because believe it or not, if you go about 1 block inwards, if you look straight up, that's where exactly that potion selection ends, and then you have your add-ons. Now all you have to do is add 2 power rails, 1 there and there, add a regular rail now, and then of course add your straight line of power rails all the way to until you get to the orange. When you get to the orange, add a rail detector, and of course extend this right across. Then you're going to leave a gap in between. Once again, 2 power rails, a regular rail, add your power rails right across. Then you're going to add your rail detector on top of that orange, and of course a few more power rails so you get to the edge. Now once you have this kind of look, here in between now, add 1 power rail, a regular rail, of course repeat the same exact pattern right across to the back, and just stop about 1 block before the edge. And you already know the story, guys. Just repeat the same thing on this corner here, and there you have it. And a regular rail right there with the power rail, excuse me, with the power rail, and delete those ones on the edge. Then you're gonna go to the back here, and starting here, guys, place a block there with a slab in front, break and a block on top, break the block underneath, and of course extend these slabs and those blocks right across. And let's break these 2 rails and fill up that whole area with blocks. Now of course we're going to extend this right across and do the same exact thing that we just did previously. So add your dirt blocks, which are going to be temporary blocks, and of course go back and forth with the rails. You already know, guys, the same identical story that we just did a few moments ago. Add your rails in between with your power rails. Now the cool thing about this, guys, if you don't want to use so much power rails on the top end here, you could use less power rails and more regular rails. Just bear in mind, you might risk, it just stopping randomly. Well, the minecarts we're going to use later on. Now once you powered everything, you should have this look. Just make sure that all the power rails are powered and do not put any levers underneath it. Now we're going to be doing part 7, the activation of the ingredient setup. Basically when the rails, well, you'll see. Now right underneath the orange part, you're going to place a sticky piston right underneath all the orange blocks. Even on this side as well. So we're going to be working on both panels. Then you're going to place an observer block facing downwards. Once again, under each sticky piston. Now starting here, see where the regular rails are at? That kind of leads to all those detector rails. You're gonna go about right here. You see where I'm at? 1, 2, see? And break all these blocks going forward. And you're gonna put that with a colored block. Any color block you want. I'm gonna use blue for now until you get right here to the end. And this is gonna be a great way to line up everything perfectly. If you notice, we're actually 2 more blocks outwards, you see? We're just 1, 2 from the actual edge of that panel. Now starting here, you're gonna line this up with the last observer block underneath it and fill that up. See? So what I'm doing now is just simply lining everything up so that it makes it very easy to set up what we need to set up in a bit. Now I'll show you, trust me, it's all gonna make sense. As you see, we're lining it up right to the last observer block. Fantastic. Now, yes, this is a lot more extra work, but trust me, it makes a huge difference when it comes to really setting everything up, and you know, it avoids any kind of hiccups or problems. See? Voila. Now you see that all the observer blocks are lined up with the edge of the floor, you see? See how everything just lines up beautifully? See, 1, 2, see how everything just lines up perfectly to the last observer block at the farthest end. Now to show you what I mean by the farthest end, we're gonna go right to the back here. As you can see, all these observer blocks are facing down, and right here at the end, you can see how all of them all line up right at the end, you see, of each one, even here as well. Perfect. Really makes an awesome visual, and it really helps you out when you're setting this up. Now at this point, guys, you're going to add a total of 6 activator rails right across from that edge. Now you could use activator rails or power rails, because what we need it for, guys, is the fact that when they're activated, they both light up, which causes the observer blocks to activate, but it doesn't activate the ones next to it. Because we're doing the east and west thing, guys, when you're setting all 6 activator rails right across from each other, they all go perfectly. So that's the reason why doing it in north-south direction makes this so easy. Because trust me, if you do it in the opposite direction, this will give you a hard time. Now, once you've done that, right in the back here, add a row of observer blocks. See how it's one block outwards from the actual panel. Now, starting here right off the bat in the first one, you're going to add a total of 15 pieces of redstone dust right on the edge here. This is the only time you're going to use redstone dust in this bottom part. Then you're going to add an activator rail, 2 right across, or even add an activator rail there, just to be on the safe side. And of course, add your activator rails right across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you're going to add 7 activator rails, because when you get here, this is the part where you're going to add observer blocks. The cool thing here, because it's at the edge, all you have to do is add a block and you're good to go. So add 1 block there and a row of observer blocks like so. Okay, so it should be a grand total of 7 activator rails going right across from front to back. See? Grand total of 7 only. And once you've done that, just continue on to the rest of the blue spots and add all your activator rails. And you could use power rails, like I said earlier, but I just figure activator rails are just really easy and super easy to make, considering it just uses iron. Now, once you got all that set up, on the edge here, you're going to add observer blocks right on top facing upwards. Then you're going to add a block on top of each observer block. Then you're going to add a block on the side here, once again, right across the board. Then you're going to add your droppers, well, your droppers facing towards you, like so. And on top of that second row of blocks, you're going to add a hopper facing downwards. And once you've done that, delete the block underneath the hopper right across. Perfect. See? Because your ingredients are going to shoot through that. Now right over here on top of this hopper here, add one large chest in this exact format. Right on top of each hopper. And trust me, that's going to be more than enough storage. Then you're going to add a hopper right behind the chest itself. Well, on the side of it, really. Now we're going to be starting on part 8. How we're going to pick up and drop off the ingredients, basically. That system alone. Now, right over here, you're going to place a block there and 2 more on the side. And we're going to be using a rail system. Now, you could delete these 2 blocks. Or better yet, let me just change the color of that block. And we're going to go all the way down to a stair pattern. See? Now when you get right over here, parallel to the observer blocks, create a nice little curve. You see how everything kind of flows nicely? And right here, extend that 1 block, and then of course bring that all the way down to the end. So you're pretty much wrapping it around, the observer block itself. Once you've done that, just bring it outwards about 2 more blocks, and then add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then curve it 1 more time, 2 more like so. And then bring it up about 1 block until you bring it right above the chest itself. See? Right to around this point here. So once again, it's that kind of stair pattern. Now, because you don't want the chest to be interfered, I will use some slabs and extend that right across above each chest, so it doesn't interfere with the chest itself. Then place a block there and continue extending it forward. Then you're going to place a block at an angle, and then of course just connect it like so. That's how everything kind of just connects perfectly. Now you're going to place a power rail on top of that for a regular rail, and you're going to curve it downwards. Then you're going to curve this as well with some more power rails and rails going back and forth. Add more power rails right across. Like I said, guys, I love to use power rails. I feel like I like to maximize this, but you could kind of judge it and change it if you want to. And you're going to wrap this around once again with some regular rails, get more power rails, add 2 regular rails like so, and extend this power rail going upwards. Add a regular rail, and of course extend this right across. Now, just like we had the same issue with bringing rails close to the edge, place a temporary block right there with a power rail on top of it, or rail. Add 1 power rail there, break that off to get that perfect cut, and then continue right on to your merry way till you get all the way to the top here. Fantastic. Then once you curve it, add a power rail there, and you're going to add a lever so you can activate everything. The only one you're not going to activate is the one up there. Now, of course, place some more rails, well, more levers to activate that. And over here, you don't want to activate the activator rail underneath. So place a slab and a rail, well, a lever. As you can see, it's not going to activate that, or even a torch. I would suggest place a slab with a lever on top of it so that it doesn't affect the activator rails underneath. See, so you have some options here to play with. And once you get back here, don't forget these as well. I just placed the lever right there because it does both in one shot. And there you have it, guys. All the power rails are activated except for that one on top of the hopper. And you want to leave it like that, because when you activate the system, you get a minecart chest. When you activate the system, it's going to activate that power rail. See, check it out. When you activate the system, it's going to send the signal to that, so that it sends the minecart around, picking up all the ingredients in the perfect order, and then when it comes back, it drops it off right on top of the hopper. Now starting here, guys, on the return trip, you're going to add a rail detector right there. Then you're going to add a few more blocks going forward because that's going to kind of buff the system. So add a repeater on 4 ticks. Well, let me add another block here, delete that. 2 repeaters on 4 ticks going forward. And what this is going to do, guys, is going to prime the system ahead of time so that it guarantees that all the ingredients and the entire system works completely smooth the way it's supposed to. Then you're going to add a repeater right there on that edge on 4 ticks going forward, and we're going to add a large comparator clock here. So add 3 comparators going forward, 1, 2, 3. Add 2 pieces of redstone dust right behind it, another piece of redstone dust on the side here, and 3 more going forward towards that redstone dust. Trust me, guys, this is a definite must to have when you're building this. Now we're going to be making part 9, the warning system, which is a great way to give you an indication of the status of all your ingredients. Now right off the bat, guys, you're going to add 5 blocks right there, right across. You're going to add a repeater there, well, a comparator there with a block in front, a repeater there and there with a block in the middle, and another 2 more blocks in front of those, so you should have a grand total of 6 wide. Now you're going to extend this platform right across the board to the other side, like so. Fantastic. Now you're going to add some comparators right across the board so that it can pick up the signal from the droppers itself. Okay, that's where all the ingredients is generally going to come out of. Now, once you've done that, add a block in front of each comparator. Then you're going to add a block on the back end here, right across. Or just to really make this simple, guys, you're really just going to replicate what we did right there on the edge. So get your blocks like so. Add your repeaters in the front and back of this block. And there you have it. Now the cool thing here, guys, I have 2 styles to really set this up. So if one doesn't work, you have a secondary style to make this light indication system work. Now you're going to add a block right here at an angle. It's going to be style 1. And you're going to extend it right across. Once you've done that, add a comparator going forward now. Then you're going to add 2 hoppers facing each other in front of each comparator. See? So make sure that all these hoppers, guys, are facing each other. Perfect. See how they're all just kind of lined up beautifully facing each other? Otherwise, it won't work. Now, once you've done that, you're going to go right above here, add a sticky piston facing forward like so. And the redstone block in front of it. Now, once you have this, look, guys, it is also very important, place 1 piece of dirt inside each hopper. And a great way to let you know you're doing it right is that those comparators are going to be lit up. And right underneath here, guys, about 2 blocks in, you know what, let me just, right here, about 1 block from that edge, let me just color code this. You're going to add a repeater going forward. And a block right behind it. And on top of that block, you're going to add 1 piece of redstone dust, and it should all lit up. And the cool thing about this, guys, because it's only taking the signal from 1 block, it's only going to be taking up 1 block of space. Now you're going to add a straight line of redstone dust, exactly 14, and then 15 will be right here, going forward at an angle, and then 3 more like so, with a redstone torch there. Now you're going to add a block there and extend that right across. Add a block at an angle now, like so. Then you're going to add a repeater going forward. a redstone torch right above it. Fantastic. Then you're gonna add a block right on top of that redstone torch, and of course extend that all the way to the back. And right over here, that's where your lamps are going to be located. That's going to let you know whether it's empty or not. Now we're going to be working on style 2. In case this doesn't work, or for whatever reason you don't want to use it, here's a secondary style just to look at. It's always good to have options. Now once you cleared all this out and you left that there and you left the comparators here, we're going to delete these as well, because I really want to make it clear what I'm doing. Now break this block right under, well, right above the redstone dust. You're going to break that block because you do not need that. That's going to be in the way. And underneath here, you're going to break that block as well. And those repeaters and those redstone dust all at once. Okay? So you should have this kind of clear environment. Now, all you have to do is add some redstone torches in front of that block. Redstone dust underneath. Then you're going to add some redstone torches here. That's why we had to delete those blocks right above that. Otherwise, it's going to create a crazy clock. Then you're going to add a straight line of redstone dust right underneath the torches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And break that. You should add a repeater there. So it should be a total of 15 redstone dust, and of course connect the other side. Perfect. Then add a block parallel to the redstone dust and extend that right across. Now I understand one is simpler than the other, but I just love to give you guys options in case one doesn't work. Then add blocks at an angle in this exact format and extend those blocks all across so you have this look. The reason you have this is because you're going to place a repeater going forward so that it picks up the signal from the redstone torches. And in front of those blocks, see, you have this look. In front of those blocks here, add a redstone torch and a redstone torch above it. And that's it, guys. Just repeat that right across, and it's that simple. I prefer this style, but like I said, I love to give you guys options in case you're having issues with one of them. Now you're going to break these blocks parallel to the redstone torch and bring that right across with some redstone dust. See? And we're going to break a few more blocks going forward towards the center. And the center, I mean right here. You see where the spot is at? You're going to break that block. That's from the other panel. And add a kind of V-shaped block shape. And we're going to create a nice clock. So add a redstone torch with a repeater going forward on 4 ticks with some redstone dust. And add this redstone dust going forward. See how it connects with that? You can see that it stops right here, and that's where you're going to add a repeater going forward. Now let's go to the front and I'll show you exactly where that's at. You see right here where the button's at to activate the whole system, well, to finalize the entire system. You're going to space, this is the only time you actually have to go outwards a little bit. But you're going to break a few blocks. You're going to see how this edge here lines up with that clock. You're going to add a redstone dust there, a comparator, well, observer block on top, with a block on the above and on the side of it. Add a redstone dust there, but place a block on top of it really quickly because you don't want that to keep activating that repeater. And all you have to do is add a redstone lamp on both sides. So add a redstone lamp there, and you should get this effect. Now, if you want to even add some noise, add a note block on both sides. The cool thing about note block, guys, you can actually change the tone of it, so you can really make your own little pattern here if you want to. Now, at this point, guys, we're going to be doing part 10 of the storage system. So we're going to continue off where we left off with the chest and start creating the sorting system. Now, right over here, guys, add a block on top of that repeater. And you should add a total of 9 blocks. Okay? So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Leave a gap and continue on by adding more blocks on top of the rest of the repeaters. See? Now I'll explain in a bit why we have that one gap there. But for now, guys, add a repeater in front of each of those blocks. Going forward, a block on top of those repeaters, well, really behind the repeaters we just placed. And once you've done that, right in the front here, guys, you're going to add a redstone torch right across the board. Then you're going to add a block on top of the redstone dust, well, redstone torch. And of course, do that to each one like so. And let me just delete the one over here because we don't need it for that. And that's really for the turtle shells. Now add 2 rows of blocks right across. 1 and 2. Delete that. And ideally, guys, make sure you pause the video when you have this exact setup, okay? Now on top here, you're gonna add a comparator going forward. And redstone dust right on top of each block. Fantastic. Now what we have here, guys, is what's called an overflow protection system. It's really useful and prevents any of the other sorters from getting messed up if one gets filled up. Then you're going to place a hopper going forward towards each comparator. Now right here in the center, guys, in that gap, you're going to add another large chest like so. And the hopper right behind it. Now starting here, guys, where that barrel and hopper facing down, you can place one more barrel with a hopper going downwards and a dropper going sideways. Now this is simply just for the turtle egg, well, the turtle shells itself. Now place your block on the side. You're gonna add 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks like so, with a block on behind it with a comparator on subtract mode. 2 blocks at an angle with some redstone dust, a repeater going forward, change that to a repeater, and 2 pieces of redstone dust. Perfect. See? That's going to automatically shoot the turtle eggs where we need to go. Now, right in front of that on the side, let me add 2 blocks there, add some 2 pieces of ice or packed ice like so. And right over here, guys, add more packed ice from that hopper. And we're going to line it up to that one right there. So make sure it's right above the redstone blocks, you see? Then you're going to extend that forward. Let's see where we're at. Yes, perfect. Right here, as you can see, there's 1 block outwards from that redstone dust. Then we're going to add some glass underneath so you get a better visual. Now starting from here, we're going to add a block there with some soul sand. And once again, starting from that soul sand, you're going to continue the packed ice until you connect with that angle like so. See how everything's kind of lining up beautifully? Now I like to use glass to kind of cover everything up on the sides, but you can use any block you want. Now let's add a few more blocks here because we're going to make this perfect water path going towards that. And over here as well, you're going to extend this upwards. Delete that. Extend the glass here and extend it till you connect with that hopper system like so. Now at this point, place a glass right there and you're going to place a trap door in front of it. And make sure to close it. Now, don't worry about that glass, we'll get to that in a bit. Add a glass on the side of it and of course extend this and just basically going to wrap this right around to the other side. So place the glass there, just kind of extend that. Now guys, you don't have to use glass, you can use any block you want. I just personally like to use glass because I just really like the transparency of it. Now right here in the front, add a gate and you're going to open it because when you add your bucket of water there, it's going to flow perfectly towards it. Now at this point, add more glass or a block above it right above the fence gate. Then you're going to extend that upwards, and right over here, guys, you're going to make sure that there's a water source on each block going upwards, you see? And it's going to create that bubble effect. Now, it's very important, guys, make sure you place a block above it, otherwise those items are going to be shooting all over the place. Add another fence gate, add another bucket of water, and it should lead directly into that hopper. And this right here is solely just for the turtle helmets. So you can create that potion because turtle helmets are not stackable. Now, once again, delete that glass block right behind that trap door. Perfect. And if you want to even add some more blocks right above here so nothing interferes with it. Now, let's do the ingredient drop off here, guys. You're going to add 2 stairs upside down and like so to create this awesome framework. And you're going to repeat that one more time on this side, because this is in case anything goes in the system that doesn't get sorted out, they have a place to go. So it's basically like an in and out kind of thing. Now right here, you're going to place a dropper, delete that block with a hopper going forward, see? And extend this hopper until you get to this point here, and that should lead perfectly to that spot right there, see? If you want, add a few blocks around it, like I said, because you want to cover up the backings and you really don't want nothing from the back to be exposed. So add a large chest there. Like I said, guys, I love to make sure that all the redstone is covered. Now let's get back to the dropper area. You're going to break that, and believe it or not, you're going to put it sideways like so, facing the sorter. Then you're going to place a block there and add a few more blocks here because we're going to create the activation system of this. So it's going to be like a miniature dispenser. So add 2 blocks on both sides, and over here you're going to place a comparator with a block in front, redstone dust there. Let's cover this up, place a block on the side with a repeater going forward and 2 pieces of redstone dust. Then you can place a piece of soul sand there with more glass blocks right above it and on the side of it, because we have to make this perfect tunnel area. Fantastic. And add 1, 2, 3 water sources just for now. Now let's go back to the back end of this before we get to that point. Now right over here, place a block there. See? And we're going to create this hopper line. So place a hopper there and make sure that all the hoppers are going towards the back. Fantastic. Once again, sorry for the back noise. It is New York. It is always noisy. Now, once you have it right there parallel to that item like water elevator kind of thing going on, place a packed ice there like so. Because those blocks are there, you just want to curve this. And we're pretty much replicating what we did earlier with the turtle shells. See? They have a place to go. You want all the water flow to go towards these hoppers. So let's cover this up and cover the sides here like so. Now add your last piece of water source so that it can go forward, and make sure you place a block or 2 above that water source. Otherwise, items are going to be shooting all over the place and it gets really messy. And there you have it. That's the best way to set that up. And go right under here, guys. Make sure that comparator is on subtract mode, because if that dropper ever gets filled up, it won't work. Now place 2 blocks here at the end. Delete that. Place another hopper going forward. Now you're going to place a dropper on the side. Delete that block. Place a hopper going towards the dropper. And once again, we're going to create the same thing all over. So add a block on the side, but this time it's going to be slightly different. And a few more blocks to just have a nice platform to work with. Now place a comparator, put it on subtract mode with a block in front of it, a repeater on the side, a repeater on that side with a block, and then some redstone dust. Now you're going to place an observer block on the side and one on the side of that one so that it creates a clock to activate the dropper. Now at this point, guys, place an ice block, well, packed ice right there. You're gonna extend that till you get all the way to the side here. I want to show you how we're gonna do that. Now, just like we did on this side, we're gonna place one large chest in the center. And of course, let's cover this up a little more. Add a few more blocks around it. Not a chest. A few more blocks and a few more blocks on this side. And right over here, we're going to place a hopper right there. On the right, place the packed ice from that point and extend it forward. See? And then connect it with this as well. Fantastic. Now at this point, guys, we're going to go right back to the chest. We're going to add another hopper just because I love to cover everything up. Like I said previously, we're going to add more blocks right over here because we don't want the back end of this to be exposed from the outside. We want to make this look as flush and as perfect as possible. Now you're going to add some more glass blocks on both ends or any blocks of your choice because we're going to start setting the water system. Perfect, you see? Now add your water source right there with a glass block on top of it, like so. Just add a few. Then you're going to add a fence gate right here. You're going to open it for another water source, and of course continue the same pattern all the way till you get to that last hopper. Now the light indication, which is completely optional, I would add a lamp right there, break these two blocks. You're going to place a block because you want to pick up the signal from that point. So we're going to add a few blocks here, and what you're going to do is add a comparator because it could pick up the signal through a block. Place the block in front of it with some redstone dust, a repeater, and another piece of redstone dust, which hence will activate that redstone lamp. What I like to do here, guys, is also add some glowstone. Completely optional, but it brightens up all the chests and it really adds some more lighting to your build. So definitely a plus. Now to set up the sorting system itself. Alright, I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. Trust me, this all has to deal with the overflow system. Now pause the video. Make sure you read this before you begin. Now, you don't have to, but it's ideal to rename the dirt that you're going to use to anything you want. Name it whatever you want, doesn't matter. And how you set it up is in that hopper facing the comparator, you're going to place one piece of dirt that you renamed on the right. And in that hopper, you're going to place 41 items. Now, pause the video. This will explain a lot of what you need to know, okay? And this all has to deal with signal strength and the overflow protection. Now, here are all the ingredients that you're going to have to set it up like. I will be putting things in the description as well, but these are the exact format of the ingredients and how they should be set up in the sorting system itself. Now, another thing to keep in mind, guys, that barrel, like I said earlier, is where you will be putting your turtle shells. So all you have to do is just dump your items in there, guys. You're going to notice right away, they're all going to flow. It should have this exact effect directly into that chest with no headaches. Now, we also have to add the minecart. So you get some regular minecarts, place it on the back here. Otherwise, the system won't work. Because these minecarts is what's going to activate the exact coding for the entire system. See? Add some more minecarts here, and this should be the end of the sorting coding system itself. Perfect. Now we're going to be doing part 11, the Nether Wart farm, and the other little doodads we're going to create for this last room on this side. So add a few more blocks, and what you want to do is create a 2 wide spacing here. And this is going to be that room that has the light indication system, the mechanical room, and the miniature kind of Nether Wart farm all in one. See? So starting here, guys, I added a few more blocks. And I just created a nice framework around the entire design from front to back. See? Now Now back here, guys, what we're gonna do is get some oak wood, oak wood or pretty much any block you want to use, and we're gonna extend this all the way to the back. Now here, we're gonna add a few more blocks, add blocks right on top of the rest of the lamps, and a few more on this side as well. And if you want to, as a little add-on, I even added some barrels right above those blocks on top of the rest of the lamps, so that if I need any, well, if there's any missing ingredients, I can just take it from there and dump it into the sorting system itself. Now here is where the actual mechanical room will be located. Now the beauty about this, guys, I'm just going to give you a really rough draft on this, because you could really take this to that next level, personalize this, and really decorate it to your likings. I mean, you could come up and down with this. You don't even have to add this if you don't want to, but I always feel it's a way, it's a really good way to have full access to, in case your entire mechanical system, in case something goes wrong, etc., etc. Whatever you want to do, guys, it's just a great way to come in and out and really incorporate this without it being kind of like that awkward spot that you find when you make a design. I mean, there's been plenty of times I've done designs where I realize I have like this awkward area which I don't know what to do with it because I'm like looking at all the mechanics. Now at this point, all you have to do is really just add to the framework, really decorate it, really personalize it, and just make it yours. I mean, all I did was just added a few more blocks, just really created this awesome simplistic room. And once you have the room to your likings, shape it up. I mean, all I did was added a few more kind of beams and pillars so that you have a nice storage area. Just create a nice division everywhere so that and you got stuff to work with. Now, as far as the Nether Wart farm, all I added was some soul sand with some trapdoors in front of it to really decorate this. And this really gave me that unlimited supply. But like I said, guys, decorate it, make it to your likings, personalize it. And don't forget to fill up all the other stuff that you need to fill up, like the water bottles, etc., the blaze powders, you name it. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember to please leave a comment and to click that subscribe button if you want to join. Thank you.